broken. Stick cam sucks. Where was I? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. This room is so weird. People leave, people join, people leave, leave, and they join, and they leave. Stick cam sucks. Seems double broken. Well, what to do? I don't know. I'll change the size of the room. That'll fix it. Hey, it did work. Huh. Yeah. Didn't think that would work, but it seems to have worked. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. You could change the size of the room, that actually fixes things, but then you have to reset everything, which is a bitch.
Okay.
Close your mic, whoever's mic's open.
That's me, because I was talking, but you were gone.
Okay.
Yeah, what I was saying is that my way of looking at meaning is that it's simply just relationships between things and other things. So it's not really like something in our heads that, I mean, like, fine, like, we'll see these relationships, but that's going to be how we perceive meaning. It's the relationships that we see in other things. So there are relationships isolated from thinking people, and those, I think, that's where meaning comes from.
Well, whatever. I don't understand how I would take meaning to be anything other than value. And I don't see how relationships have any relevance to value. So what is the value? You know, you have to have, you know, like I said, how can you separate the word meaning from the word value? We don't even need the word meaning if we just use the word value.
Well, you were saying that meaning is there regardless of anyone like existing to think about it.
I'm saying value is there. So the point is just fuck the word meaning for a minute and just go with the word value.
Okay, well, to me, like, value is a different word than meaning.
Well, how is it different? Explain that to me. I just said I don't see how it's possible to separate those two words. So you explain to me how you have something called a meaning without it somehow indirectly relating to a value. How can something possibly mean anything if it doesn't affect a sentient creature? So explain to me one event that ever took place that actually means something that didn't affect a sentient creature.
Okay. Well, I think then there's just I'm not getting my point across properly. Like getting things across, like, that has, like, I think, like, meaning is, and, like, what I mean by relationships, like, when things affect other things, that's where we find meaning in them. Like we're going.
Well, look, everything affects everything in a sense. So I mean, that just gets nowhere. Okay, so what gives things meaning is value. All you have to do is trace the meaning to the core thing that's a value. So the reason why politics means anything is because human beings' welfare is in the balance. Every single thing, every word you utter, everything, the only way it has any meaning is because it somehow will accomplish some need that manifests in a sentient creature. And if it doesn't affect a sentient creature, it'll have no meaning. I mean, it's just that's the only relationship you need to even relate anything to.
Okay. Well, I guess to break it down, like, I could say that, like, if I ask, like, what does the word Kleenex box mean, and that word is attached to like the physical thing, and how I'm seeing it is that the word and, like, the relationship that it has to the physical Kleenex box, that's where the meaning is found. That's how I'm looking at it.
Well, again, but that's not. It doesn't mean anything. Okay, that is meaningless meaning. You're just using the word meaning, attaching it to stuff that doesn't mean anything. I mean, obviously, the cardboard means something to the Kleenex in the box, but it doesn't mean anything in a conversation about meaning. It's not meaningful. It's not a meaningful relationship until it somehow impacts a human being. And so if they can't get to the Kleenex because the cardboard doesn't have an opening in it, then it has meaning. It's meaningful relationship then. But it can't be a meaningful relationship until that relationship has something to do with a value. And the only thing that has value is the welfare of a sentient. What have you been eating, cat?
So Yamakaba, are you talking about like meaning between events?
I guess you can say that. I was actually trying to encompass like anything that can be seen as meaning as a relationship.
Well, I'm just saying, what's the point? Like, see, now you're using a word. You're using a word that doesn't mean anything now.
Like in my life has meaning.
There's just no point. I mean, the word meaning now, you're just like consciousness before. We're just blowing up the word. It doesn't mean anything now. If you're going to use the word meaning to describe two different things, something that's meaningful or something as stupid as, well, there's a relationship between the plug and the computer being on. So yes, there's that relationship. The plug is meaningful to the computer because it makes it function. I mean, it's not this. It's just a different word. Then there's no point in having the word, using the same word to describe things that have no meaning, and relationships that do have meaning. What's the point then? The word doesn't mean anything. So I'm not going to use the word. I've declared the word off limits. Nobody ever used the word meaning. Okay? Use the word value or fuck it.
I'm saying, what function can we use? Is it perhaps language? Is this mathematics something completely different? I don't understand.
Okay, wait, but my mic's boosting too much. I think I'm getting some feedback. I'll fix that.
Alright, the other guy's got his mic open. Red star, you're gonna close your mic. Okay, thank you. Yeah, this is bullshit. This room is fucked up. Which is, irritating. But I don't know if it's worth making another room. But, whatever.
I could encourage you, if I can say one thing, encourage you to make another room because there was massive lag. And everyone who wants to enjoy the mayhem, truly, that's why we come.
Is there any way we can limit the number of users? Because I think it's causing a lot of lag.
Testing. Close enough, I think. Yep. Alright. Let's see. New room, same crap probably, but let's see. Nice and quiet in here. So somebody's got to post the link in the other room, please. Whoa, what the fuck is that? How did I end up with that color? What a crock of shit. Alright, so could somebody please post that link in the other room? Yeah, that's really kind of bullshit. Tom gets, oh good, time for me to argue with her. Yay! So somebody go post this link in the other room. Thank you. Post this link in the other room. And such, and so forth, and whatnot. How's my volume? Testing the volume on the microphone in the new room. But nobody's answering, fuckers. 7 useless people in here. Okay, thank you. Looks low, but I guess it's okay. Yay, Dom gets okay, good. Now I can argue with her. Yay! Fucking warmongering crazy bitch. Oh, she's even got her intelligent glasses on, even though she's terribly awful blood clothes. Awful, awful, awful. Ugh. Okay, so I'll make my 2 arguments. Kind of quick. Alright, now, in this whole Middle Easty thing, okay, it's not like Europe. I mean, you're comparing a European country, dictator, Ceausescu, that whole kind of bullshit, and we've seen successful European democracy. So we know European countries can be democracies, and it works out just great. Now, what Muslim country has a functional democracy? So what is Libya, what would be the model that Libya would create or demonstrate or follow? There's no model of a democracy. Which one of the rebels is Thomas Jefferson in hiding, and Benjamin Franklin, and all the rest of those good guys, the founding father types? Are there any founding father types riding on those little pickup trucks with their little guns and shit? I don't think so. I think they're a bunch of fucktarded Muslim lunatics. Okay, and the next point I would make is, so I see it as all fail. My next point would be, how exactly has Gaddafi been worse than Fidel Castro? Fidel Castro, who we don't have to take submarines over there, we don't have to take aircraft carriers to Cuba to launch our cruise missiles. We could launch them right from McDonnell Douglas. We could throw 200 cruise missiles at Cuba right from McDonnell Douglas's plant, and they wouldn't even have to put them on a boat. They could just launch them right from the assembly line right onto Cuba. And so why don't we just take care of Cuba if all we're about is democracy now? If we're the big grand fighters for the democratic people, why don't we take Castro out? Why don't we assassinate Castro? Why are we assassinating Omar Gaddafi?
I'm not for assassinating anything, and I'm not for exploring invasion and, interfering in other people's governments. But this is the case where Gaddafi was actually bombing fucking cities.
So what? So what? Which, like I said, who hasn't done this shit? Okay, and you say he was bombing cities. Well, I think that's going a little far. Okay, he was bombing rebel tribesmen, okay, who have declared their traitorship to his country. Just like in, we can go down the list of every one of these guys who have done exactly the same fucking thing. They take out their enemies. When their enemies raise their hand and say, "We're your enemy," yeah, they kill you. I mean, Israel just blew up a guy on a motorcycle, okay, riding down the road. So should we bomb Israel now because they're despots, because they kill Palestinians?
Like I said, I'm not for I know, I said in my fucking post that I know there are political games going on, and I said on my post that I hate how the fucking United Nations pick and choose where they interfere based on basically what those countries can provide for them. But still, to me this is just because they don't help other people because they have no interest there, like they didn't help my fucking country, right? When we had our revolution, nobody fucking, came to help us. So,
well, they helped a little. I mean, let's be fair. There was a little help, okay? We did impose sanctions. There was some effort. Nobody liked Ceausescu. Everybody wanted him the fuck out of there. Yeah, they didn't roll the tanks in to get him out, but there was lots of pressure to get rid of him, and I'm sure the rebels in your country were given some arms by, covertly, by lots of the Europeans and the Americans.
No, it wasn't the case because nobody wanted to fuck with fucking Russia.
It wasn't,
Who the
but
fuck wanted to
well,
fuck with Russia for
even Russia didn't like even Russia didn't like that lunatic. They knew he was a lunatic.
We were the pet government of Russia.
Yeah, I'm just saying though that guy Ceausescu, okay, I was here. I mean, I grew up in it. I saw the fucking, I read Time magazine and Newsweek. All right, nobody liked this fucker. Okay, so I'm just saying his days were numbered, just like Milosevic. He was going to go down. Okay, it didn't go down. Lots of these guys end up being in power. Franco, lots of people end up in power a lot longer than they should. Okay, but it isn't because nobody cares. It's just that nobody wants to start a fucking war.
Yeah, exactly. What kind of point is this? Obviously, who the fuck likes a tyrant? Who likes a dictator?
Well, I'm just saying, let's say that thing, your thing, Romanian thing, was happening right now. What are the odds? It seems now that we would be prepared to do it. Okay, that we would be prepared to start throwing cruise missiles around, blowing up aspirin factories, fucking around, because we've done it. And it just seems like this is the pattern now. So maybe that's the only line that's been drawn, is that we have now figured out how to do this little war thing. And so we're going to do it a lot.
I never said that I am for invasion. I don't want the United States or the United Nations to go and to fucking invade that fucking country.
Well, what good is this is the worst case. I'd rather they go in and invade. I'd rather they do it the right way. If you're going to take over, then take the fuck over. Take responsibility. This idea that you sit there in your fucking aircraft carrier and launch 200 cruise missiles, blow up a bunch of infrastructure that your defense companies are going to make a big pile of money. As soon as the next government gets in power, what are they going to do? They're going to rebuy exactly the shit we just blew up. They're just going to buy the same shit again from the same defense contractors. This is just about defense contractors. The only reason why the French are in on it is because they're pissed off at Gaddafi because he stopped buying fucking planes from them and started buying his planes from the Russians. And that's all it's about. It's about fucking money. Gotta turn your mic off, Andrew guy, or I'll just kick you again. You want me to kick you out of this room too? You got headphones on, but your mic's open. I can hear your fucking speakers. You either turn it off or I'm kicking you. Alright, fuck you. There's a little button. You press the button on your image with the speaker, right? Either hit it or I'm hitting you out. Alright, fuck you. God. Oh, you got it. Okay, just in time. Anyway. Okay, well that was a good fight. I won.
Yeah, I forgot what I was to say. Yeah, well, I know it's about money, and I know that, Libya is of interest. I said so in my fucking blog, so I don't know what are you on about. Just because I am not against, stopping him to fucking bomb. He didn't just bomb the rebels, he bombed civilians. And even if he bombed the rebels, I still don't think that's okay,
Well, I'm just saying that to use your personal experience, which I'm not denying wasn't horrible. I'm not denying that Romania didn't need to go through that kind of shit. I'm just saying it's kind of bogus. This isn't about a European country. This is about a Muslim country. This isn't about a country where we have a rebel force that is that has an identity, that has an agenda. They have a written Declaration of Independence and a written constitution, and they're all ready to take over. No, this is a bunch of factions. I mean, if they had an election in fucking Libya tomorrow, I think that Gaddafi would be in the fucking running, okay? He might win pretty fucking easily. All right, so he's having a war with a minority of his country. So let's say that America has a little bit of turmoil, and all of a sudden Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi decide they don't want to be Americans anymore, and they want to start a fucking, they want to take over the place. Is Romania going to show up with cruise missiles and start bombing the rest of America in defense of Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi?
Well, it depends. I mean, if Obama would start throwing bombs at fucking, shelving the cities with fucking tanks and artillery and start bombing the people, do you really think that this can actually happen in the United States right now?
Well, I'm just saying, if you do think that Obama's going to let Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi succeed from the Union, no, that's not going to fucking happen. So yes, it's going to be a civil war. Okay, there will be bombs thrown. All right, and there'll be collateral damage, because they'll want to do it the easy, convenient way, and everybody's going to put little kids in front of all the little targets, so lots of collateral damage happens. We know how the game is played. The point is Romania going to come over here and pick a side and say, well, no, they should run the place, or they should run the place?
Well, first of all, I mean, this is one of the purpose of the United Nations, right? To protect civilians if something like this happens. I mean, at least in theory, this is one of the things they are supposed to be doing. Just the fact that they're not doing it that often, it still doesn't invalidate all this shit. And I didn't use my country. I mean, you misinterpreted what I was saying. Somebody had their mic open. What I said, why I gave my country as an example, was because some people kept making these arguments that, Libyans don't have it that bad. I mean, they have, free education, and they have free medical care and all that shit. And I made the point that, yeah, we did have that too. Just because they have some stuff, it doesn't mean that, they aren't that bad, and the situation there is not serious.
Well, I just don't think it is serious. I think that is the whole fucking point. I think it's worse in Saudi Arabia. I think it's worse in Kuwait. I think if we're going to invade a country, we're going to invade fucking Kuwait. We shouldn't be invading fucking Libya. Libya's around forever. The motherfucker he does a terrorist act. We proved he did Lockerbie. We don't kill him for that. Why are we killing him now? And don't tell me we're not killing him. We're out to assassinate the fucker. We want him gone. All right? And this is just bullshit. We have nothing to replace him with. Nothing.
I am for the fucking 100% time. I am not for an invasion, you know. Just because I didn't oppose the no-fly zone, which basically only prevented. I mean, this was supposed to be the purpose, right? Prevent Gaddafi from fucking bombing.
Well, I'm talking about 200 cruise missiles, okay? So if you want to say you're against the 200 cruise missiles, then we can have a conversation. All right? I don't care if the UN wants to shoot down Gaddafi's planes. I don't give a fuck. What I give a fuck about is cruise missiles blowing up infrastructure that the fucking American industrial complex is going to fucking goddamn resell to them. All right, we're just blowing shit up so we can oblige the next people who take over to clean up the mess we fucking made and repurchase the same shit all over again.
Then you tell me, how do you establish a no-fly zone without taking down the air defense and offense?
Oh, I'm not for it. I'm just saying I'm mostly concerned about the cruise missiles. Okay, so if you're saying cruise missiles are okay to do your no-fly zone crap, okay, then I'm just saying then you might as well take the fucking place over, because you are going to disable the government. You're going to disable it catastrophically. You're going to create and open a civil war, and then what are you fucking going to do? All right, so you might as well clean it up right away, fast, get in there, take it over, take out Gaddafi, and put in your government, or stay the fuck out of there. But doing this half measure is not going to make the life of the fucking average Libyan any fucking goddamn better. Their life is going to fucking suck.
Nobody created a civil war there because they launched missiles. They were already in civil war for a long fucking time before that happened.
Yeah, right. So it's a civil war. If 5% of the population is pissed off and they decide to arm themselves and put crap on their pickup trucks and run around the country, that's a civil war then. I don't think so.
You don't know what's going on there, Gary. This is what people.
Well, no, you do the survey. You tell me if there was an election tomorrow in goddamn Libya, you tell me who the fuck would win.
Well, unlike other people, I don't pretend to know what's really going on there. You know, how many people are against Gaddafi and how many people are for him, and why? This is
money. That's why. It's just like in Iraq. This is a war between tribes, okay? Gaddafi has longtime enemies that still live in his country. People who he doesn't give the oil money to. People who don't get as big a cut, okay? And they're pissed off and they want the fucking oil. They want the money. They want the power. They want the control. And that's all it's about. It's a petty old fight that anybody is going to have when you're in a country full of people who have strong ties to their tribal heritage, all right? And that's what every Middle East country has. There is never a population of one kind of people. It's always a population of north, south, east, and west. And yes, the southern people don't like Gaddafi. Big fucking deal. We shouldn't be in there. If we're going to be in there, then we should be in Cuba. We should be in all of Africa. This is just fucking obvious. There's absolutely no fucking standards here. And the only standard is oil money and profit selling armaments. They know Libya is going to be on the market for more guns. No matter who's running it, they're going to want to replace the shit we blew up, and that's the fucking goddamn equation. Money.
So, you know, what you're basically saying is the same argument, you know, that you did with the charity. That, you know, just because people have an interest, for instance, in raising money for Médecins Sans Frontières, because everybody knows them and everybody will donate money for them, instead of, you know, raising money for, I don't know, for a euthanasia project or for a fucking, I don't know.
Well, I told you that I have a lot of reasons not to like that particular charity. Why would I like a charity that says we give out health care without discrimination? Why would I want to give money to a charity that gives health care to people who, in my opinion, have no entitlement to it?
But this is your fucking position. I mean, I don't disagree that there are interests there. Just like I don't disagree that when we did the Médecins Sans Frontières, they chose this charity because, you know, they had an interest in it. They knew that, you know, it is famous and people would donate and so on. But that doesn't make it, you know, if both sides are benefiting from it, it doesn't make it a bad thing. And I'm not sure, you know, if the Libyans will actually benefit from it. But so far, at least, you know, they stopped being attacked from air and from land with bombs. At least that, you know.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's at least nothing, because now the war is really on. Now people are going to get really pissed off. So don't tell me that it's going to be less of a war now. No, it's going to be more of a war now, and it's going to even be more brutal of a war. So you're not solving the problem unless you finish it off. If you just leave it the way it is now, what happened for 10 years while we did sanctions against Saddam Hussein? What was the brilliant accomplishment? Oh, that's right, we killed 1 million people.
Look, Iraq was a different fucking issue. Everybody keeps on comparing this with Iraq. The United States declared fucking war on Iraq.
Desert Storm. Desert Storm.
That they did not have any kind of evidence for. I am not for...
No, I'm talking about the first war. I'm talking about the first George Bush, the first invasion into Iraq over the fucking Kuwait bullshit. Okay? And the 10 years of Clinton sanctions against fucking Iraq. How did the fucking people of Iraq benefit from those 10 years of sanctions? How the fuck are the people of Libya going to benefit when we've now stolen, okay, $1 trillion from them? We've seized their assets. We've stolen their industry. We've taken money out of their country's hands. They no longer have control over what they own. And we're blowing up every day. We're dropping cruise missiles on infrastructure they're going to have to replace. How the fuck are the people of Libya going to benefit from this experiment?
Why the hell are you equating, you know, Gaddafi's possessions with Libya's possessions?
Well, look, guess what? It doesn't really make a difference, okay? Whether it's Libya that owns... Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Because you're trying to imply that by putting like an embargo on fucking Gaddafi's possessions, right?
Well, you're saying they're Gaddafi's. What evidence do you have that they're Gaddafi's possessions? Those are possessions in the hands of the Libyan government. We have declared the Libyan government Gaddafi. We have frozen the assets. All Libyan assets have been frozen. Not assets owned by Omar Gaddafi. All assets.
Which were controlled by him alone.
Well, of course, he's the goddamn dictator, so of course he controls the fucking assets. This is just an idiotic circular argument. The point is they belong to Libya. What is he going to do? Bury them with him? He's going to bury the assets with him. What is he going to do with his assets besides spend them in his own fucking country? What else is he going to do with that IBM stock eventually? When he dies, what's going to happen to that IBM stock? Is it going to go to fucking some asshole in New York? No, it's going to go back to Libya.
What the fuck are you talking about? He's known for fucking state-sponsored terrorism.
Oh, that's such a cliche. State-sponsored terrorism. Fucking goddamn Israel. State-sponsored terrorists. We are state-sponsored terrorists. That is just a bullshit.
But you are basically you are talking bullshit because you're saying that.
How many people have died in Libya in the last year? How many people have died at Omar Gaddafi's hands in the last year? How many? Do you have the fucking number? How many people, innocent people, not rebels, innocent civilians have been killed by Omar Gaddafi in the last year?
I don't have the number.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All you have is the media propaganda, the propaganda of the French government, the propaganda of the United States government who want to sell fucking arms.
I cannot have a conversation if you keep switching subjects, you know, according to your fucking mood. I mean,
state-sponsored.
We were talking about Gaddafi's possession, and you were making the fucking bullshit claim that, you know, all this fortune is gonna go back to Libya, to the Libyan people, which you know it's fucking bullshit. You know that.
Where's it gonna go then? Where the fuck is it gonna go?
There is crap.
Where is it going to go? Compared to other despots in the world, guess what? Omar Gaddafi does not live like these other fucking cunts, okay? You go to Saudi Arabia and those assholes have fucking villas. Those assholes have fucking properties all over the goddamn world. All right? At least Gaddafi lives in his country, he stays in his country, he spends in his country. So I'll give him that. I'm just saying the assets aren't going somewhere else. Where did fucking Saddam Hussein's money go? That's right, we stole it. We took it. We didn't give it back to the Iraqis. We stole it.
These fucking people, it's just to benefit the government. For fuck's sake.
Well, again, to benefit the government. Okay, so fine. So how many people are in the government that you're saying are being made billionaires? Okay, I don't think that's true, but whatever. You tell me. You tell me. It's just like, look, it's the Castro thing. All right, people don't like the guy's policies. They don't like this, that, the other thing about him. But guess what? He doesn't live in a palace. He doesn't play he lives more meager than our presidents and our congressmen and our senators.
So you're basically saying that, you know, well, Gaddafi is...
Well, that was fun. Fucking room. Turn your mic off.
Gary, would you ever live in a tent to fight for your country?
Whatever. I'm living in less than that now, but yeah, I don't give a fuck about money, so that's for sure.
I don't know what you heard from what I was saying, because I was stuck into like a fucking dead stick jam.
Yeah, well, it's been a little buggy tonight. Look, you know, I don't want to drag it out because it just seems like we're going to argue about these cliches. But yeah, this Gaddafi, it just doesn't make any sense. Okay, it just doesn't make any sense. All right, we have a whole history with Gaddafi. There was times where we could have taken him out so fucking easy, and why didn't we? And now, why is now the right time to do it? Why is now the right time to all of a sudden get moral about Gaddafi? I think he probably killed more people 10 years ago than he killed this year. I think he probably might have killed more people. You know, I can name a whole bunch of other years. Why all of a sudden is it now that we're fucking with this?
The argument is that the United Nations prevented more people from getting killed because they fucking annihilated his...
This isn't about the United Nations. We know this didn't happen because the United Nations said, let's do this. We know this happened because the American and French government decided to do this.
And the UK government, what's their interest in this?
Well, the UK government obviously went along with anything the United States says the UK goes with, obviously, right? What was the UK's interest in fucking Iraq?
Okay, fine. So your position is that the United Nations have no business, you know, doing anything like this in the Middle East or anywhere else, that if Gaddafi just decides to bomb the people shitless, nobody should interfere with that.
No, well, he didn't bomb them shitless. That's the first problem we have here is we don't have a death toll. We don't have any real evidence of a bomb shitless yet. So right there we're a little low on evidence. Okay? We're a little bit low on evidence of that. We don't have that. there's no proof of that yet. But yeah, we know what CIAs are for, and we know what, there's all kinds of ways in the Middle East. If you want to arm people, you can arm people, okay? We did it in Afghanistan, we've done it in other places. We can do this covertly. I'm just saying, when the cruise missiles come out, I smell a fucking rat.
What kind of evidence are you supposed to see, considering that their internet is down and there's a media blackout there? How are you supposed to get this kind of evidence?
I'm just saying it should be a requirement before you start dropping cruise missiles. Then you really ought to have some sort of real imperative, okay? Not that you're going to sit there and say, oh, well, Saddam Hussein, he treated those people, those Kurds, all wrong, so we have to go in there and go kill people and overthrow the government because he's not treating these certain people the way he should be treating them. I mean, this is a bullshit standard. If we apply this standard evenly, then we should be in every fucking goddamn country in the fucking world.
I think the United Nations should be. They should be in Yemen. They should be in all these places. This is my... I am not saying, that they should, put whatever governments they want, but they should do something.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're going to go in, you have to put a government in. If you're not going to do it, if you're not going to give them the democracy, then what are you going to give them? You're going to give them a fucking civil war. That's all we're doing is festering a civil war.
You put a government in there, in 10 years you'll have another fucking rebellion.
Oh, well, I'm just saying, that what's the point? What is the fucking point then? If you're just going to right now, the people were living a semi-civilized life, doing real commerce with the world, blah, 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 blah. Now, it's all shut down, all the assets are seized, there's going to be no functional interaction with the rest of the civilized world anymore, no contracts made, no business done, no fucking nothing, okay? So how is that an accomplishment? So I'm just saying that is fail. It's just failed. It's fail, complete fail.
Of course there's going to be commerce. Whoever comes in after the...
Who comes in? Okay, again, so here we go again. Okay, who comes in? So it is an assassination attempt. That's all this is. It's a $1 trillion assassination attempt. Okay, so you get Gaddafi out, you get his son out, you get his people out. And who takes over? Okay, Ukmar Bakantar, okay, the country becomes a Muslim haven, okay, a religious control freak lunatic nation again. So now we got another fucking Stone Age country full of fucking religious fanatics. Wow, bravo, fucko.
I was totally arguing your argument that the commerce will fucking go on even if Gaddafi stays, even if he goes.
Well, it's not gonna happen with his assets seized. Guess what? That isn't gonna fucking goddamn happen. All right? They can't make a contract now. They can't do any business because they can't control any of their own fucking money anymore. All right? It's all shut down. It's shut down. There's no business can take place when you can't guarantee a contract. And how can you guarantee a contract when some fucking country can decide anytime it wants to that it's just going to steal your money? That's all we did. We stole the fucking money.
But this is a temporary thing.
Name when it's been temporary. Okay, give me the example. Give me the example of the country where we seized the assets and they got them back. Okay? We seized Iran's assets. They never got the fucking money back. that was pretty cool. Some kids left the room twice in a row without coming back in. She double left the room. She double left. No, she's triple left the room. She's left 3 times. Yeah, it's pretty funny. She's left 3 times. I don't know how. What the fuck does that mean? Gary is the nuclear knight of the atheist community? What does that mean? Oh, whatever. Conversation about what, you fucking cunt? Fuck you. Get the hell out of here. I'll ban you. Fuck off. Stupid shit.
Gary, do you like hockey?
No. I don't know if it's safe yet. The asshole controls his mic. Okay. Like I said, I really don't want to argue with you. Oops, gone again. Yeah, it'd be funny if the Kurds should actually be from, like, Kurdistan. That would be funny, wouldn't it? Yeah, Kurds were actually from Kurdistan. But yeah, no, they made it up later. Yeah, well, Kurds are just like gypsies. You know what I'm saying? They just moved into everything. You can take a little bit of this, take a little bit of that, take a little bit of that. It's like Mexico is sort of relocating into America. So in a few years, and you know, we'll have to decide whether we're a Mexican territory.
That's an issue waiting to blow up.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's all about money. All this shit's always about the fucking money. Who controls the fucking money?
Hey Jerry, I had a question about the whole life equation thing.
Well, you know, write it on a piece of paper and wipe your ass with it and such.
Okay, what about the happiness experienced by looking at a painting?
Whatever. What about it? Yeah, well, look, like I said, I don't really like arguing with you to death about stuff. I just, you know, it's just weird to me that you got this Gaddafi thing and, you know, whatever. I mean, everybody has their own perception of stuff. I mean, I originally hated Gaddafi, okay, when I was 10 years old. Because, yeah, he's a nutty guy in a nutty country. But like I said, he survived over time. He survived. All this bullshit, and he survived. And this just seems so silly. So after all this crap, we're going to fuck with it now. Why? I haven't heard Libya in the news in the last 10 years. I haven't heard about how all the poor Libyans and all the terrible stuff Libya's doing and all the terrorism and all the this. And they've kept their nose out of business in any kind of overt way. They didn't even have a reference in all of our, you know, who's responsible, who's dealing with Saddam Hussein and who's manipulating. No Libya talk. No talk of Libyans. No talk of any of that shit. All of a sudden now Libya's on the fucking goddamn, in the bullseye. Why the fuck? Like we don't have enough problems.
Why do you think? I mean, is the purpose, is the reason wasn't because he was I mean he did launch bombs on them and it was going to get worse. So if this wasn't the reason, then why leave?
Well, then why not Syria? Why not Syria? Are you really arguing? Are you really arguing that the Syrian government hasn't been worse than Gaddafi? More Syrians, I bet you, more Syrians have died in the last 2 months at the hands of government than in Libya. I'll bet you. So why isn't Syria even on the goddamn? Why it's not even in the news? If I go do a Google search on Syria and I do a search on Libya, I mean, I'm not going to find any kind of anything comparable, right? So why aren't we fiddling with fucking Syria? Why aren't we saving those poor people? Why aren't we fighting for their revolution?
You're making this argument as if I am for, going into Libya and I'm against going into Syria. Like I said, I think UN should get more involved than they do, and they should just forget about their petty little interests. But this is not the case, and just because they don't go in other places where they are needed, it doesn't mean that I am supposed to be against going in Libya right now.
Okay, so exactly how does that work? All right, let's say America's going to have a civil war. Okay, so we're having our civil war now, and the UN shows up. Now, what does the UN exactly do? What is their role exactly? They just tell the king, you stay over there, Mr. King, and you rebel-y people, you stay over there, okay? And nobody can communicate with each other, and you can't have a real country anymore. And no, you can't have government services throughout the whole country anymore because we have to keep you separate, and we have to do the... Is that what the UN's supposed to fucking do? I mean, if that's their role, to be some kind of dopey idiots, all right, they're great at, once the war is over, let them do the peacekeeping thing. Let them put police on the streets. Fine. But the war's not over. Okay, we didn't do the war thing. You got to do the fucking revolution first. You win the revolution, then you bring in the UN. Okay, but I don't see this UN peacekeeping crap isn't going to fucking work in a civil war. It's idiotic.
But how can you win a revolution? Okay, they accomplished things that are not happening in fucking Syria and in Yemen. You don't see in Yemen entire cities taken over by the protesters, like you saw in Libya. Okay, you don't see that. But how are they supposed to fight against their fucking own army and against bombs? You can't win a revolution when the fucking leader starts throwing bombs at you. It's just impossible.
Right, and the only reason why there's a difference is because Syria is so much tighter, so much rougher, that it hasn't allowed anybody to put fucking anti-aircraft guns on their pickup trucks. Okay, so yeah, the Syrian rebel forces don't have the arms that the Libyan rebel forces have. And the reason why the Libyans have them is, again, because of this fucking territory thing. It's because they are in a territory. They're consolidated. They're not like spread out over the country. No, they're in a region. It's a regional conflict. All right? And we've just decided to pick a side, and it's not a good side. We're not on the good... We're giving money to basically Al-Qaeda again. We're financing Al-Qaeda to fight a thing because we decided this is the enemy now. And why have we decided it's the enemy now? Not because the death toll is so much higher. That's just a canard. Yes, well, whatever. In the room, out of the room.
I think we would be doing more with Syria. It's just they kind of worry there'd be a backlash politically.
Well, yeah, there'd be a backlash because it'd be a hell of a war. That's all. We've just decided that people have rights when we feel like we can kick the ass of the guy who we're fighting. So it's because Libya is not as scary as a target as Syria would be. That's probably all it's about. Yeah, it's some sort of calculated decision. And it's a calculation that has nothing to do with human rights and human welfare. Like I said, I would be all for this shit if they had one Thomas Jefferson. Just give me one. Name me one Libyan rebel. Name me one Thomas Jefferson Libyan rebel. All right? Let me see him make a fucking speech that doesn't have... I mean, just one. One fucking rebel that can do something other than...
I think it's like, politically, it would just make Obama look like Bush on steroids, so, like, he would just totally lose his base, and it would create kind of a political problem.
Oh, I don't know how this is not a political problem. He is not getting reelected as far as, I mean, if I can do anything about it. I don't care. This fucker, Obama should die. Fucking cunt. Warmongering motherfucking cunt bastard. I mean, ironically, I don't think we would be in fucking Libya if Bush was president again. I mean, that's how disgusting this is. Obama's worse than Bush.
I bet you hate Mother Teresa too. I hate her too.
Yeah, whatever. I don't hate Mother Teresa. She already confessed. She wasn't a Christian. Jesus.
Gandhi.
Yeah, well, getting into Iran would have been, McCain's talk was a lot different than his walk, so who the fuck knows? I mean, if McCain was stupid enough to try to take on Iran, good luck, fucker. But the point is, yeah, well, at least we wouldn't be in fucking Libya, because, yeah, that's right, we'd still be in Iran. I mean, the irony is that you have some chance of democracy in Iran because it's got enough educated people in it that you might actually have enough of a fucking civilization there where democracy might even work. It might work in Iran. It might have a chance. Okay, not much of a chance, but it might have a chance. But fucking Libya? No fucking chance.
How can they get educated? How can they do that when fucking everything is so fucking censored there? They're basically just, I mean, they've been like that for 40 fucking years, and before that they were occupied. So how can you expect them to be all, educated?
I'm not expecting. I'm just saying there. Somebody said the words again. Saudi Arabia. Why aren't we there? Why don't we take over Kuwait? Why the fuck did we give Kuwait back to a bunch of kings? Why the fuck did we do that? Why didn't we give the oil of Kuwait to the fucking people of the Middle East? Why did we give it back to a few thousand assholes?
What authority could you kick it? I mean, just because you think they're fucked articles doesn't mean you're basically entitled to take their fucking oil.
Who said we should take their fucking oil? The people of Kuwait are not fucking retarded. They're fucking businessmen. We gave the money to a bunch of businessmen. 2,000 people get all of that fucking money. All right? I'm saying give the fucking oil money to all the people of the Middle East. Distribute the money of Kuwait, the oil money from Kuwait, every penny of it should go to everybody in the Middle East. Every country should get a cut. Kuwait is a fake country created by fucking oil kings. That's it. It's not a country. And my point about Libya is not, I'm not holding against people being ignorant. I'm just saying that democracy is not going to work in theocracy. You can't have democracy when people are motivated to have a theocracy. All right? So unless you have some plan to force it on them, they're not going to have a democracy as we know the words. They're not going to have a constitution, okay, that protects people's rights. They're going to have a constitution that is Sharia law.
Gaddafi should have did what they did in China, in Tiananmen Square. Go and shut them down. And today, nobody talks about Tiananmen Square anymore because it's been silent, it's been fixed. Gaddafi should fix the problem right away. But the thing is,
Well, look, there's no point in comparing China to any of this stuff, okay? We couldn't have a war with China, okay? So there wasn't much we could do about Tiananmen Square. I mean, it's really, that's a little bit, that's even fetched for me, okay? You can't go with any kind of morality and say, well, we did it in this other country, so we better go do it in China now. No, you're not going to sit there and fuck with a billion-strong country with nuclear bombs.
I'm just saying that Gaddafi should have done the same as they did. Put it down, shut it down.
Well, that's what he did do, okay, and that's what we're apparently using as the excuse. But my point is it's just a fucking excuse, all right? That's all this is. This is an excuse. Again, the French would not have been in on this if it wasn't for the fact that they're pissed off, okay, that they lost military contracts. It seems glaringly obvious that seems a little bit too big a fucking coincidence. That all of a sudden France gives a fuck about the human rights of the Libyans when they're not selling fucking F-16s to the motherfucking, to Gaddafi. So when they're not arming Gaddafi, then they're opposed to Gaddafi. I mean, what a fucking joke. Well, whatever. I mean, obviously, if China had human rights, they wouldn't have all the businesses they have, because they obviously wouldn't be able to exploit people and exploit the desperation and pay people shit, barely enough to eat for a living. So, yeah, no, they wouldn't be able to do all that stuff if they were civilized. Yeah, that's right. Well, like I said, I'm not for Gaddafi. I'm just not for us interfering until we have something to replace it with. That's my only argument. You're not going to replace Gaddafi with anything rational or decent. You're just going to perpetuate a civil war. So what's my argument? What is going to be accomplished? I'm just saying there's no accomplishment. So yes, if it require like I said, I don't even have the facts, okay? So you can just talk about how Gaddafi has sacked something, okay? How many real innocent people who weren't trying to overthrow his government, did he kill? I mean, we killed his son, okay? We killed his son 20 years ago, or whatever the fuck, 20 years, I guess it was. We killed his son. We bombed his tent. We killed 2 of his wives or whatever, and 1 of his sons. So why, well, who's going to? Okay, daughter, whatever. So what's the game? What's the fucking point of this shit? Why now?
It's all to get to Iran. Where it's all going to end up.
No, it's just, well, whatever. It's not going to, Iran is just, it's just a pipe dream that's going to fuck with Iran. I mean, just silly. The minute you fuck with Iran, you know what happens to your fucking green zone in Iraq? Guess what? It gets fucking cruise missiled, okay? Iran's got some kick-ass missiles, okay? And the day we invade fucking Iran, the green zone in Iraq is a fucking desert. 30,000 American soldiers are dead. That's the reality. There's a sitting target just sitting there waiting to get blown up. Yeah, well, look, Israel is. No one's going to. I don't think it would be Iran's strategy to fuck with Israel, okay? Because they know what's coming back at them if they do. But likewise, Israel doesn't want to do anything fatal to Iran. I mean, it can blow up something in Iran, but it better be very careful about how much it blows up and what it blows up. Because they really don't want to get into a fucking... They start hurling shit at each other, it's going to get really fucking ugly.
That's why they call it the end game.
Well, I'm just saying that there's certain pragmatism that takes place. So one would hope, okay, that in like a Cuban Missile Crisis or something else, that there's a lot of huff and puff, you know, and no boom. Yeah, well, look, Iran. The fact that a lot of Arabs want no Israel is just a fact. The fact that a lot of Israelis hate Arabs is just a fact. Whether they can afford to attempt to annihilate each other, well, that's seems pretty obvious that they can't really afford to do that. Well, you say Iran doesn't have. We don't know what Iran actually does have.
When you fuck with Iran, you said fucking with Iran allies. They're the Soviet Union and Russia.
Well, I'm just saying that connection in itself implies a lot, just because obviously the Soviet Union has gone through a lot of hard times, and it might not be outside the realm of possibility that they have sold nuclear technology to the Iranians. And I mean a bomb, okay? Not the plans for a bomb, not the, you know, water for a nuclear plant, but yeah, the bomb itself.
We should talk about Afghanistan.
He understands. That's what he really should talk about.
Yeah, well, the point is the UN ought to put fucking nukes in space. There ought to be a doomsday scenario that just obliges everybody to play fair. You know, that anybody who attempts to commit suicide, well, then everybody's got to go, kind of a thing. There's got to be some kind of scenario like that. Like all nuclear technology has to be filtered through, you know, even